everybody. Welcome aboard. This is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia and Mike. I got Mike Athos on the line with me today. Today, we're going to be talking about how to effectively communicate to procure sales. Welcome aboard, Mike.
Hey Marcia, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, doing
Well,
great.
a little bit of a crazy morning, but here we are.
They're always crazy. I love it.
I know, I know.
That's how I like it to
So
be.
I was telling someone the other day how, if you're trying to figure out your career choice or you're trying to figure out what you're good at, you should take a 3 by 5, piece of paper, put it down and think of one thing that people have commented, told you, something you instinctively know about yourself, but like, what is the one thing that that you're really good at, and if you could get paid for it, what would it be? And write it down. And so I did that maybe 12 years ago. And what I wrote, in fact, it was funny. I was laughing because I pinned it to my wall, and it fell off the wall the other day, and it reminded me that I had that I had done this little task. And what I wrote down was communication,
Yeah.
communicators. What I wrote down.
Well, I was gonna say if I had to pinpoint it for you, it would be you can communicate, you can talk, you can t talk to anyone, and I think
Right.
that
Well, I
that's
got most
really
talkative in
important.
high school and most spirited, so they go hand in hand. So I guess I'm in the right business.
Yeah. Combine that with some energy and you're good to go. I love it.
Yeah, but it brought me back to a conversation we were having prior to jumping on the podcast. Was, why I love technology. I talk about this all the time, but it's a double-edged sword in my opinion, because I think it has made a lot of us. I'll give you an example. Um, People prefer text over voicemail. Why is that? It's just easier. It's informal. You can, quickly, you're texting right now, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
People love texting, but the sad part about it is I think it's kind of taken away the interaction you have with people, which in my opinion, if you're in sales, that's really where everything, that's kind of the beginning of the sales cycle, is just having a casual conversation with somebody. And next thing you know, oh, by the way, hey, I was just talking to my friend, the other day, and, he was looking for, an annuity, or he was looking for, life insurance or final expense for his parents or something. And that's kind of where the whole sales cycle starts. And that's kind of where, you get your momentum. And we were commenting earlier how it's kind of, technology's kind of taken that away a little bit. And so today I want to talk about how we can bring that back into the fold to get people back, especially with, I think, COVID just kind of completely put the lid on that.
Well, no, I agree with you. I think the COVID changed things, but I also think all sales, all business development is going to start with a conversation, and it's going to start with talking to people. And there's so many shortcuts out there that people try to take, like sending emails instead of picking up the phone.
Mhm.
I'm a big believer like that. Yes, you can send out emails, but you're casting a wide net, and what's your return going to be on it compared to if you just pick up the phone and call someone you know and have a conversation with them. Your results are going to be drastically different. And I know that as I've been working in business development for a number of projects, and the greatest success that I've had from it has been talking with colleagues that there's a potential fit and saying, hey, I might have something for you. Let's chat about it, or check this out. You won't believe what I've been working on recently here. And that conversation leads to a much more productive pathway compared to jumping on and sending out hundreds of emails to I don't know. I guess shotgunning out an email cold approach or something like that. I'd rather talk to people and say, "Hey, this is what I'm working on. This might be of interest to you. How does this sound? Or can I get your opinion on this?" And you're actually having that conversation. Similarly, I mean, if you're in sales and you don't have anything to do, you should be out and about. Like that is just something fundamental in my brain. Like you shouldn't be sitting there playing on Facebook or sitting there on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is. That's very unproductive time compared to if you just get out and about in the community, you'll never know who you bump into and what that'll lead to. And so just having those interactions is going to elevate your end goal to the next level. So don't be afraid to get out and leave your desk. I think having salespeople, it's funny. I had an office for a number of years in Sarasota, and I realized at a certain point I was trying to get all my outside salespeople to come into the office to have meetings and that sort of thing. And that was probably the least productive, biggest mistake I was ever making in having that office space. Was I didn't need to have that office. If they're outside salespeople, I need them out and about and out in the community talking, and running appointments and meeting folks and shaking hands and kissing babies, all those things, compared to you're not going to sit in the office and bang the phones and send out emails, and it's just a different approach. So I love being able to interact with people one on one. Podcasting is a great way to do it, and so I know we offer podcast services for businesses as well. But you got to get yourself out there, and so talking to people is a real big thing.
Right. Well, I mean, when you think about sales, it's two things. It's a problem and a solution, and I think people forget that sometimes. So, being out talking and listening to people, you understand what their problems are. Because if you say, "Hey, how's your business going?" They're going to tell you. Maybe they're not going to be honest. I don't know, but a lot of people will say, "Oh, usually." Now, I meet with a lot of clients all the time for insurance, and I'll say, "How's everything going?" And they'll say, "Oh my gosh, it's just, trying to just hit payroll every week, and just, it's the same old." I would say the common denominator when I speak to a business owner is trying to meet payroll. Cash flow sucks. Employees are driving me crazy. The top five are the same. Employee driving me crazy, cash flow, trying to meet payroll, supply and demand sometimes, and marketing. I would say those are like the top five things that
Yeah.
I hear. So, you really, if you're in sales and you have a solution for that, that's when you kind of have to develop a strategy on how to communicate without actually selling to that client. I'll give you an example of that. I had a friend who sold copiers, and I probably mentioned this on another podcast, but at the risk of repeating myself, it's valuable information. And he said, I realized when I got going, I was the low man on the totem pole, but I kept looking at my contemporaries, and my colleagues that I was up against, and I realized I was looking at their ages, thinking they're going to retire soon, and all these clients are going to roll up to me. So I needed to make sure that even though I wasn't their sales rep, to just walk in and introduce myself and say, "Hey, I'm so and so. I work with Joe. Was in the area. Thought I'd say hello." He never went in with a strategy that he was going to sell them a copier. What he did, and even on clients that had nothing, or potential clients that had nothing to do with that business, but he would go in and he would establish a relationship. "Hey, I'm so and so, and I know you're all set, but I just thought I'd come in and introduce myself. You never know down the road. And my big thing is I always tell people when I'm prospecting, like the one thing you'll always have my attention. You'll have my cell number, you'll have my email. If I don't answer my phone or text message, it's because I'm helping somebody else, but I will call you back. And I'm very, very good about returning phone calls. So it's really about the relationship building. But, I think what I'm trying to drive home on the podcast today is you're not going to get anywhere by sitting in front of your TV and just waiting for that phone call. I
It will
remember
never
when I first,
happen.
no, when I first got into insurance, I remember, I bought a bunch of leads. I remember I must have made 50 phone calls, set up 50 phone calls to set up 5 appointments. And my first day out, I sold every single one of them because I listened to what their problem was. I knew I had a solution. So if they have a problem, you have a solution, and you know how to deliver your sales pitch to them. And I don't mean it needs to be this big salesy thing. You got to sell yourself. And even like with health insurance, which actually is a dial out system that I worked on for many years, I would get greeted with, "Stop effing calling me. Why are you calling me?" And I'd say,
Hmm.
"Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I did not, I thought you were looking for health insurance, but let me show you how to stop these phone calls." So I would tell them how to stop the phone calls. And then all of a sudden their guard would come down. They're like, well, I am looking for health insurance, but I went online, I put my information in, and now I'm getting bombarded by people. And I'm like, okay,
Sure.
let me solve it. Let me solve this first, and then I'll solve. Then I'm going to be able to show. I'm going to be able to help you search for a health insurance plan. So I didn't. I'm not going. I didn't say I'm going to sell you a health insurance plan. I'm going to help you find one.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you find one, and then I can assist you with your application. So do you see the language difference?
Well, it's a different thought process altogether. You're there to help. You're there to solve a problem, not you're there to sell, and soak up your commission.
Yeah, and I think people have forgotten that. And I'm really trying to get people to understand, when I work with someone, especially if they're a new salesperson, as a sub producer or something, I'm really trying to get them in the mindset that, you've got to. In fact, I always tell, put 25 pennies or 25 nickels or quarters on your desk every day and then take a cup. And every time you make a phone call or an email or you reach out to somebody, and I recommend doing both, pop that penny into the cup. When all 25 pennies are in that cup, then either start over again or go to the next thing, which is start getting out on the road and start dropping in. Go to coffee shops, go to diners, sit around, start talking to people. You would be so surprised how many times. I don't recommend going to a bar though. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a social situation and someone will say, oh my gosh, I was just talking to her, she does insurance, or and that's kind of how it snowballs. So but I unfortunately, I think the internet and TV and tech and all of this has just made us extremely lazy, and we've forgotten how to communicate with people. And I think if we can get back to that, if you can mentally get in the game on that and really think about what you need to do. And I always say, don't do that at the end of the day. Do it at the beginning of the day. Sometimes that doesn't work. As a business owner, if you call me at 9 o'clock in the morning, most likely I'm not going to be able to take your call unless you're
Yeah.
a client, because I'm putting out fires for clients right now. So sometimes late afternoon does work. Someone's
Yeah.
wrapping up their day. Maybe they recognize they have a problem throughout the course of the day. But I would say, maybe Monday do afternoons, Tuesday do mid afternoon, maybe Wednesday do morning. Kind of change it up. Try to figure out where you could go, and maybe it's going to a local coffee shop and maybe going in, getting a cup of coffee, sitting there, kind of, getting just kind of, taking notice of who's there.
Just be part of the community. I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing. Like you don't need to be a secret salesperson. You can just
Yeah,
be a human being out in the world living, and just have interaction. Interaction is what makes the world go round. And so
absolutely.
if you can just get out of behind your desk, that's a great thing.
Yeah, one thing I love, I love this saying, and it's like everything, everything that leads to your road to prosperity is really lying in front of you at your feet. And 95% of the time, what's covering that is your fear and not being able to get out of your comfort zone to make those phone calls, to go put yourself out there. And I hate to keep harping on COVID, but when we got so used to staying home, I mean, look, I
Oh,
can't believe when I go into a business that, and I'm guilty of this, because I work from home a lot. Um, just the dress code's gone down. So, I went into the post office the other day and I was mortified what they were wearing. It was like they were in pajamas almost.
yeah. Well,
I couldn't believe it. But
pajamas are workout clothes, but
yeah, I'm just trying to, really, how you present is going to determine whether or not you get that CFO or CEO or, that business owner's attention. I'm not saying you have to go in with a suit and tie, but business casual is needs to come back, not bedtime casual.
well, it's funny. I have a running joke with my neighbor, and so we both have home offices. We both work from home, but we're always kind of out and about. but I bought some new gym shorts yesterday online, and I texted him right after. I said, "Hey, just got to tell you, I just got some new work pants." I mean, but
I'm up in my
that
game.
yeah,
I
but I
know.
mean, it's just yeah. I think the world could step it up a little bit. So I don't know.
Well, I can sum it up. Maybe you've seen that video. It's so funny. If you haven't seen it, I'll send it to you. But it's a girl with her feet on her desk, and she's got pajamas on, and she's eating chips and Starbucks, and she's petting her cat or dog. I can't remember which. And she's on a Zoom call, and then she sees everybody coming on, and they're on video, and she realizes she's going to have to jump on. So she takes her hand and she swipes her desk, and she puts the chips down. She puts her glasses on. She pulls her hair back. She puts her suit jacket on. She puts a little lipstick on, and then she flips the thing on. She's like, "Good morning, everybody!" Like, it's really funny, but that kind of sums up where we're at. And I think if you can, at first, try to get yourself into being up, dressed, ready to go at a certain time, even if you're working from home. Get ready. Look the part. Because I think if you look the part and you get to your desk rather than you're in your pajamas and it's 11 o'clock, or you're in your workout clothes and now it's 12:30 and well, now it's lunchtime. I cannot believe how quickly you can blow a day. It's
Yeah,
mind blowing when you think about it. So I really try to get people, when I train people, you've got to get up the night before, get your list together, get your game plan together, get up, do what you got to do, get in front of your, computer, your phone, whatever, and be ready for work, and put a time on that. It's just, I don't know. The work ethic thing, I think, really works in tandem with the communication skill. And I think if you can master both of those, you could be unstoppable.
absolutely. Yeah. I think it all boils down to getting out and activity too.
Hmm.
Activity is a big thing, and sitting at home in your pajamas waiting for a Zoom to start isn't the way to go do it.
No, no. In fact, I'm always amazed when I make a Zoom meeting how much I can accomplish before especially if I make an early one. Then in my mind I'm thinking, okay, I got to start a little earlier. I'm going to lose that hour, so I've got to adjust for that. But I really have trained myself, to get up, show up, and take action every single morning. And I think if you can train yourself to do that and realize if you are just getting up. I always say to people, especially if you own a brick and mortar store, if you own a brick and mortar store, every single dollar that you are ever going to make is in somebody else's bank account right now. So if you can't get to your business and show up, and like on a retail store, I set the windows for my retail store. I do them religiously every week, and I put a lot of thought and detail into them, because those are my silent sellers. That's what's going to pull people into my business. But think about what your online presence looks like. If you're an online seller or an online business, think about what your website looks like, what your online presence looks like. What does your social media look like? What does your Instagram look like? What does your LinkedIn page look like? And mind you, I know sometimes I let weeks go by and I've got to do it, but it's because I'm busy. Those are all part of your communication toolbox. So you want to make sure that all of that is in check. But ultimately, it comes down to what comes out of your mouth, and the time and effort that you put into being out and about to be able to have an audience to communicate what you want to communicate.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Couldn't agree more.
absolutely. All right, Mike, we've got to run because we got a lot of business to do. We got calls we got to make, people we got to go see, and we got to practice what we preach. So thank you
That's
for
right.
tuning in to another edition of Elevating with Marcia and Mike. Come back next week with another jam-packed podcast. Make it a great week.